Hello and welcome back to Soul via Soul. Thanks for joining me again today. And it is the start of school. It is the end of August. All of my last remaining child is in college, and the rest are coming to the cruel realization that you don't get summers off, generally speaking, when you're now a working, functioning adult and you're not in school. So it's that time of year. It's just a little bit crisp now in the evenings and in the mornings. And there's just this whiff of fall that's coming around the bend. And this is actually one of my favorite times of the year. And so that is on my heart and mind today is really about a topic that I think we all struggle with, honestly. And as we get back to school, and sometimes this is where we're going clothes shopping and we're trying on new outfits to go to school. I used to do that with my kids, and it was, getting all ready for the season. And that can be triggering for a lot of people because sometimes you don't maybe look the way you want, or clothes don't fit the way they want, and then we start going down this rabbit hole of negative talk. And I really want to spend a little bit talking about negative thoughts, because I don't know that we actually realize how impactful our thoughts are, not only on our mental health, but on our physical health and wellness. And I want to shed a little light on how that actually could be standing in the way of you and your, not only your health and wellness goals, but like just feeling comfortable in your body and liking the person you see, and not being frustrated that maybe you don't look as good as you want in those pair of jeans. So while I started off talking about kids, I think that honestly, this is something we all struggle with. We often will see this in teenagers, especially, and being the mom of many, I have definitely heard and been witness to and helped kids move through body image issues and feelings of low self esteem and the things that come with that. And we can get caught up in this circle of negative self talk. And honestly, that can sabotage a lot in our life. And I don't think we really talk about it a whole lot, because a lot of the negative self talk are actually thoughts. We don't actually say them out loud. But if you actually wrote down the things that you say to yourself, it would probably be shocking. And you're probably not aware of it, because a lot of those thoughts actually are on a subconscious level. So I'm going to tell you a story about the best example of this, which is kind of hard to admit, because I now am on the other side of really recognizing how powerful our thoughts are. But for a long time, I didn't. For a long time, I would be very harsh and critical about the way I looked, or the way I felt when I would maybe look in the mirror or see myself naked. And I'd be like, ugh, there's this roll, there's this piece that wasn't there. Like, why is that lower? And, all the things that we do. But here's a story that actually stopped me dead in my tracks. And this was, I had been particularly hard on myself. And I think I was training for an Ironman that year. I don't remember, but there was a whole lot of pressure and expectation that I was placing on myself to meet a lot of external measurements. And my weight was one of them, because if you're training for an Ironman, or if you're biking, or if you're a cyclist, you know that, for every pound you lose, you gain some speed. You get to become a faster runner if you weigh less. You are a faster cyclist if you weigh less. You just feel better, and you're more confident, and you can generate more, as they say, power to weight ratio. So I was really pretty heavily tracking all of these measures in an unhealthy way, I think now looking back. But because I was really so focused on the numbers, I got stuck in this really negative spiral of being very self-critical. Suddenly I wasn't fast enough. I wasn't as fast as I want to be. I wasn't as fast on doing this one thing. I didn't like how I looked in my very tight fitting spandex like triathlon kit or bike kit. Like it just suddenly I was really hyper focused on the exterior part of me. And I started now I would struggle with this silently, like many of us do. You wouldn't hear me saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm just a big old fat tub of goo," out loud, but I would feel it. I would say it subconsciously. I would see myself in the mirror and think, "Oh, what's going on? Why don't I look like her? Why am I struggling so hard to lose this one area of my body? Why?" And I would beat myself up. And I didn't realize how much I was doing it. I became a broken record. I was a constant on the rinse and repeat cycle of I am not this enough. I don't feel this enough. I am struggling to feel this. Why am I so fill in the blank? And I was degrading myself right, left, and center. Nothing positive about myself exited my mouth. But even worse, nothing positive about myself even entered my brain. There wasn't a thought that was positive in any way about my body, my self image, my efforts in training. All of it was negative. All of it was negative. I was always lacking something. I was never where I wanted to be. And even if I accomplished one small piece of that, I kept moving the goalpost. I kept moving the next benchmark I had to hit in order to feel successful, in order to feel beautiful, in order to feel confident, in order to fill in the blank. There were so many areas where I came from that was not in any shape, form, fashion positive. And I did this. I did this all the time. And it wasn't even an awareness that I had. It had become so part of my repertoire that I would actually degrade myself from the moment my eyes woke, my eyes opened, my feet hit the floor until at nighttime. I would put on my makeup in the morning and complain. I would get out of the shower and go, "Ugh, this doesn't fit." I would go for a run and look at my watch and go, "Why am I so slow?" I would then start my day and feel like, well, I'm not going to eat that thing because I'm a big fat cow and that's going to, right? Like, and then I would wash my face at night and I would look in the mirror and go, "Why are these wrinkles here? Or why is this here?" And it was a constant stream of negativity. And it was so part of my everyday that I wasn't even aware of it. Like you've heard the story of fish swimming in the water and they're not even aware that there's water. Like I was in the water and I had no idea that I was in the water until one day. One day, my husband turned and looked at me and he said, "Would you please stop talking so negatively about the woman I love?" And that hit me like a ton of bricks because I didn't see how, number one, my negative self talk was actually impacting me in any way, number one. And number two, I didn't realize how my self negative self-talk was impacting those around me, and how upsetting it was to have people who love me hear me talk so poorly about me. And it stopped me in my tracks. It caused me to immediately investigate my language about myself. And I realized, and I have realized, and of course, as a therapist and as a mental health provider, I see and work with women all the time around this issue. And I was just horrified that I actually was doing it myself. Thankfully, that was several years ago, and I've since learned to do better. But I know that there are some women out there who struggle with this. And here's the connection between the mind body, which is often not talked about, not addressed, and that is how important those negative thoughts are in helping you achieve your goals, not only for mental health and wellness, but physical health and wellness, because they are connected. There is definitely a connection between what we say out loud, what we think but don't say out loud about us. And it speaks to how we value ourselves. It speaks to what we feel we are worthy of. And in the law of attraction and manifestation, you create your reality. And the way you do that is, number one, by the things you think and the things that you feel. And the negative thoughts that you think create a negative emotion. That negative emotion is like throwing a rock in a pond. It is going to have rippling effects that are going to affect not just you, but everyone in your circle in a negative way. But on the flip side, when we have and learn and heal our worth and what we believe we are worthy of, and we start attracting the things that we are truly in alignment with our worth by doing the healing inner child work, by revisiting false beliefs and negative beliefs, which is what I do in my courses and in my membership. We address these things regularly. We get rid of those negative false beliefs through a series of courses that I've created that move that out of the way so you can move the dial in your life, so you can achieve your fitness goals, your wellness goals, your mental health goals, because it's all connected. And it starts with what we think about ourselves, which triggers an emotion about what we feel. And again, that has rippling effects. So here are just a few ways that your negative beliefs are actually standing in the way of your health and wellness goals, physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. This is how they are barriers to you achieving and manifesting and creating the life you want. And I have a journal that I created called the 52-Week Guide on Building the Life of Your Dreams. And it talks about the importance of doing that investigative work, the importance of having all these ways that we love ourselves, to get out of our own way and to really recognize the power of your thoughts. So the journal, the courses, my membership, all of these are ways to help move the dial in your life so you can plug in whatever area that needs to support. So how are these negative beliefs and this negative self-talk impacting you? So here are a few ways that is getting in the way of you achieving and creating the life of your dreams. Having this negative self-talk obviously creates low self-esteem. Those negative thoughts about your body and your self-worth can lead to low self-esteem. And as a therapist, I can tell you like attracts like. So if you have a low benchmark of how you value yourself, you will attract that same level of lowness. We don't want that. We want to elevate. We want to elevate so that we create someone who is aligned with where we are. When you don't feel good about yourself, It's really hard to make those positive changes in your life, including adopting healthier lifestyle habits and committing to your weight loss goals. It also leads to lack of motivation. Negative thoughts can sap your motivation to exercise and eat healthy. When you believe you're not capable of achieving your goals and they're not worth pursuing, it becomes really difficult to keep chasing your dreams. Another big way this sneaks in is emotional eating. Yes, this is when you're digging for that hidden tub of butter pecan that you thought you hid so enough far back in the freezer that you forgot it was there, but then you realize it's there and you go searching for it. Negative emotions often trigger emotional eating. If you're feeling stressed out, sad, frustrated, you don't want to feel those things because it's difficult sometimes to sit with those distressing emotions. Then we turn to food as a way of comforting ourselves, which when you eat the tub of Ben and Jerry's, you're going to get a spike of dopamine and temporarily you will feel better. But now we're on the wheel of now shame and guilt. What have I done? I'm a big fill in the blank. No one's ever going to love me, etc. Learning to love ourselves is one of the key elements to any health and wellness goal. I think it's the one thing that sets me apart. It's the one thing that differentiates my work from the other people out there in the health and wellness industry is that I have both the medical training and the mental health training as a therapist to blend the tools and the education to give you that are going to move the dial in your life as far as healthy habits and eating and nutrition and exercise tools. And when you find yourself struggling with these kinds of things, I switch on my therapy hat and we move those limiting beliefs out of the way, which sometimes requires inner child healing. Because it's all connected. And we sometimes have to do work in all areas of our life to move the dial forward. Negative thoughts also create self-sabotaging behaviors. And again, this is where we're getting in our own way. They create these behaviors in that you might believe that you're destined to fail anyway. So you might as well unconsciously engage in behaviors that counteract your weight loss efforts, like overeating, not exercising, why should I even try? Nothing's going to work, etc., etc. And here's a big one is it elevates cortisol. And there's a lot of research out there about stress and cortisol. But here's one of the things I don't think is talked about enough, and that is negative thoughts create changes in our emotions, which creates increased levels of hormones, especially cortisol, which make weight loss efforts even harder because elevated cortisol levels are associated with weight gain, fat storage, particularly around the abdominal area where we women tend to beat ourselves up the most. So having high cortisol levels can actually make it more challenging to lose weight, even if you're doing good in other areas of your life. Having negative thoughts also create this all or nothing, black or white thinking. Negative thoughts lead to this kind of thinking where you believe that any deviation from the perfect diet or the perfect exercise plan means you're a failure. So this mindset can set you up for disappointment. And then you just give up because, again, what's the point? And I talked about this in the beginning, but negative self-talk also creates negative body image. We attract what we are, not what we want. We attract what we are, not what we want. So you have to slip into the mindset of I am already this beautiful goddess, which you all are. But negative thoughts eat away at that and they create a cycle of dissatisfaction, avoidance, and then you engage in other activities that actually continue to cultivate that negative body image. These are just a few of the ways that negative beliefs sabotage and ruin your health and wellness goals. And I lump mental health and physical health and energetic health and emotional health all into wellness because it's all part of being well. And the challenge would be for you to take a look at that. Where are you struggling? And the first thing is awareness. Where are you beating yourself up? Take note of how you talk to yourself. Take note about maybe the things that you think that you don't actually say out loud because your brain doesn't know the difference. Whether you say it out loud or whether you think it, your brain thinks it's truth. This is one of the reasons I created my journal. This is one of the reasons I created my courses. This is exactly the reason I created my membership, is because when we bring awareness and then we learn the tools to change the narrative, to change the dialogue so that you can start recognizing and falling in love with you. Because when you fall in love with you, think about how that's going to impact every other area of your life. Because we take care of things we love. We nurture things we love. We encourage things we love. We support things we love. We value things we love because the things that we love are worth something to us. And it's time you put yourself in the category of being worthy of loving you in every aspect of your life, mind, body, and soul. And if I can help you in any area of your life, take a look at my courses. Not sure where to start? Start with the journal. Start with writing down, bringing awareness on how you can start the journey of loving yourself. Liken it to a courtship, if you will. The first stage is, hello, nice to meet you. That's the journal. The next stage may be getting to know yourself a little deeper. Maybe that's one of my courses that help you remove the barriers to what's underneath you. What is preventing you from loving you? Maybe it's having a community of support that helps you weekly move the dial in your life. Drop in where it makes sense for you. Your wellness journey and the way that you get to create the life of your dreams is just one step closer when you remove negative thoughts. So I hope this has given you something to think about and challenge you on how you're showing up for yourself and how your negative thoughts might be ruining your health and wellness goals. So get out of your own way and start loving on you, starting with what you think and believe about you. Hey there, wonderful listeners. I'm dropping in with a little gift. That's right. I want to thank you for being an active listener of the Soul via Soul podcast. Your support goes a long way. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you've been enjoying these episodes and finding value in the empowering conversations we share, there is so much more to offer within my monthly membership, the VIA Collective. And because I'm feeling grateful for your support, I'm giving you half off your first month to experience all the greatness this membership has to offer. Head to the link in the show notes and learn more about the exclusive member content and enter code SVS Podcast at checkout to get half off your first month.